Snipers, you have to see what's happening in the Bitcoin price right now as we came just shy of the $20,000 level today after the Feds announced a 75-point basis interest rate hike. And there's a lot to talk about today, Snipers, but what's most interesting about today is the fact that it's the fifth day in history that Bitcoin's daily RSI has breached below 50. In the past, this has marked a bottom. You can see on this chart, every time Bitcoin's daily RSI has come below 50, it has marked a bottom. So we have to ask ourselves a question. Did Bitcoin dodge the 2018 previous all-time high to potentially bottom just shy of the $20,000 level? Well, the charts are black and white, Snipers. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support this four-dimensional update. The first thing I want to mention is Bitcoin against SPY potentially could have reached a final destination, testing its 50-month moving average. So we got that out of the way. And when we look at Bitcoin's price, you can see we're already about 10% up from the recent low. And we had a green daily candle form with a slightly bullish wick. And so what are the facts on the charts? Well, we do know there's a major resistance just above us right now at 23,795. And that's really where we have to get to if we want to assume any bullishness for Bitcoin right now. If we are not able to get above 23,795, there is still a likelihood we could be seeing further downside or at least come down to test these lows around 20,000 US dollars. But you can see we held strong above the 2018 previous all-time high so far, around that $19,000 level, with Bitcoin's current low at 20,111 US dollars. Now, what are the revolving parts telling us? Well, there's one very interesting revolving part for those that are paying attention to the immediate short term that we could look at for a confirmation of whether or not we're going to be seeing continued upside in the markets, and that's the NASDAQ testing its weekly open right now. If we can get above this weekly open, that could be an early confirmation that there is further upside in equity markets, which would also translate into Bitcoin. And then outside of that, what I will mention is interesting is the gold to Bitcoin chart did form a bearish daily candle with this move, not getting above the 600-day moving average. For this chart to see some downside would assume Bitcoin could strengthen. And so that is a very nice daily candle close. And altcoins are surprisingly doing well right now, which is what we want to see to assume that there's still confidence in the overall market, not just in Bitcoin, with altcoins outside of Ethereum still pushing up. The Ethereum to Bitcoin chart holding this major support at 53,500 Satoshis. That's a very positive thing for the overall market. And Bitcoin dominance, you can see, is starting to come down, which is exactly what we want to see to assume fear is leaving the market. Now, if we look at the cryptocurrency fear and greed index, it is around 8 right now. But what's most important, I think, is the fact that the RSI came below 50. And this is only the 5th time in history that this has happened. Now, we have to ask ourselves a question. This is a very different situation with inflation at all-time highs at this point, and we're starting to see the Feds really tighten up. This is certainly a very unusual time in the markets. Did Bitcoin bottom here? Well, if we've reached the final destination, we immediately turn right back around because we're up 10% from the recent lows. There is a chance that this is a final destination, at least in the immediate short term, but we need to get above 23,795 to assume a confirmation, because we do not want to see Bitcoin breach below 20,000 US dollars, as that could open up the door to around 15,000 US dollars, potentially even open up the door to 10,000 US dollars. So that's not what we want to see, of course, but we can certainly assume with Michael Saylor saying that it's a great time to enter positions into Bitcoin. Fidelity also saying Bitcoin is currently oversold. The fact of the matter, Snipers, is we are playing inside of a range with a resistance of 23,795 that we need to conquer to assume further upside, and a major support of 19,000 US dollars right now. We are seeing a relief right now in equity markets after the Feds announced the 75-point basis interest rate hike. And so we'll continue to monitor the situation. The NASDAQ is closer to the weekly open than the S&P 500, so that would be the earliest confirmation that we're going to be seeing continued upside in the markets. And outside of that, I wouldn't say there are much more revolving parts that are important. Japan is up 1.4%, which is a very good thing when it comes to international markets and the four-dimensional revolving parts. MicroStrategy, the public company that holds the most amount of Bitcoin, doing quite well right now. We're seeing institutional inflows here, And it was very interesting that even though Bitcoin continued to sell off, MicroStrategy did not form new lows. And so you can assume that there is some sort of buy pressure here where we're not seeing a further discount here for MicroStrategy. Very similar to how the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is trading at a discount right now. That's the same thing with MicroStrategy based on their holdings of Bitcoin and their stock price right now. But we didn't see MicroStrategy sell off further to get into further deeper discounts, which is a very positive thing in my opinion. So very interesting time in the markets. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below about what's going on. I still think it's very premature. We have a lot left in the week, 2 more days for equity markets to be open, and then a weekend. And so I think the biggest thing that we want to see for Bitcoin is for our weekly candle to not close below the 200-week moving average. That would be the first time ever that that weekly candle would potentially close below the 200-week moving average, and that would not be a good sign. Right now, the 200-week moving average is sitting right around where price action actually is right now, and that's right at that $22,300 level. So that's the most important thing for this weekly candle. We do not want to see the body of this weekly candle close below this 200-week moving average. But I think the biggest bullish puzzle piece that we got today was the fact that the Bitcoin against SPY chart did test its 50-month moving average. That was something that we were waiting for, and we finally got it. And so now that it did test this 50-month moving average, you can see in the past that has also marked a bottom. And so the same way the RSI is below 50 on the daily, this is also an indicator of a potential bottom for Bitcoin. So let's see what happens, snipers. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support these midnight updates, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Snipers out.